Hey guys, what is going on? I'm back with a new video, and if you can tell from the title, I am reviving a dead series. Now, for all my OG viewers, you guys may know that I used to do a series called I Review Every Car in the Game. Um, Eventually I did stop doing that because, I don't know, I just felt like it wasn't useful, but I got some comments recently in my videos saying that people actually wanted to see it, and that really made me feel happy. So yeah, guys, your comments mean a lot to me, so if you do want anything in the channel, let me know and I will make it. An example of reviving this dead series, well, is an example. But yeah, I just want to say that Top Drives has changed a lot since my last review every car series. um I was checking through my old videos, and the last video I posted from the series was 5 months ago. Now, within those 5 months, Top Drives has added a lot of cars, namely to say the Chrysler, Dodge, Lancia, Mazda, all those cars. So I think there'll be a little bit of difference in how I'm gonna rate them. So I remember how I initially planned it out was that I would review like 4 brands a day. I think I'm gonna stick with the original brands, and cars like Chrysler, Dodge, and Mazda I'll put in a separate video. So today I'll be going over Caterham, Chevy. I'm going to go through Fiat, and I'm also going to go through GMC. Um, in my last video, I actually went through Caterham, Chevrolet, Citroen, and DS. However, due to the American Dream update, a lot of new Chevys has been added to the game, and I just want to reiterate what I said about Caterham. So without further ado, let's get into this. Now, actually, before we get into this, I just want to say that Top Drives has evolved as a game a lot. So they're trying to make every car in the game useful. However, in terms of rating cars and knowing that some of my viewers may not have the amount of resources to invest in every single car in the game, even though that's what Hutch wants you to do, I'm just going to be very brutal with my judgments, and I will only tell you the best of the best. So just do take my judgments with a pinch of salt, but I am really highlighting the best cars in each brand. So Caterham, we start off with Caterham, and I just want to say that almost every Caterham in the game is actually really useful. However, the ones that I would highlight, which are the best, would be the Superlight RS 500. It is the best A Caterham, and this is a car that you should max out. All other Caterhams are strong, but obviously you want to focus on the Superlight. Right now I have the Caterham CSR, but I'm not really focusing on upgrading this because I feel like one day I might get the Superlight, and I'd rather invest in that instead. Another Caterham that is very strong is the 7270. This is a very strong car because it is very light, and the handling is very, very good for a super rare. This is the only super rare Caterham that you can get as well, so there is barely any competition for a car this light with that good of grip. So I do recommend getting the 270, the RS 500, and of course the 7160, because it's kind of same explanation for the 270, but instead of the ultra rare range, it's the uncommon range. The weakest Caterhams, I think, would be the Caterham 21 and the Caterham 7360, just because they have a lot better cars that can go against them, right? Going down to Chevrolet, now this Chevrolet section is going to take a while because there are a lot of Chevrolets, and a lot of Chevrolets got added into the game from the American Dream. What I can highlight in the F section is the Chevrolet Corvette, the C1, the first one from 1953. This car is pretty good in drag races. It goes down to about 9.50 to 60, I do believe. I do have a fully upgraded version, so I can show that to you later. But I would say this is the only F Corvette I would max out. The Chevrolet Tahoe is okay as well, just because it has high clearance. It's also pretty fast, not gonna lie. But it has no handling. So think about this as like the Chevy Trailblazer, but worse. But it's an F version of it. So this is a car that, you may keep, or you may just sell. It really doesn't have a huge impact in anything. But moving on to the E's, Some highlights I would say would be the Blazer S10, just because it's off-road tires, and there are not a lot of uncommon cars with off-road tires. But besides that, it's just a weak car. It just has really good tires. Two really good uncommon Chevys that I do recommend you to keep if you do get would be the Chevy Lumina. This was an American dream car, and it is most likely going to be upgraded to a rare. So if you do get this car, do just keep it, put it in your garage, and then once the update ships out and this car gets upgraded, then you can use it for fusing or sell it for 1,000 coins. But all around, it is a very strong uncommon car because it has good. It's just a good all rounder. You know, good 0 to 60, good handling. But when this does go to a D, then it'll become a very weak rare car. So do keep that in mind if you do have this car maxed out. Another car that is really good is the Impala SS427. This is a drag monster for the uncommon class, and if you do have it, I would just say keep it. You know, it's just really good drag car. Another good drag car is the Z28. However, it is not as good as the 427. So if you do have the Z28, don't even bother. Just keep the 427, and you should be good in the uncommon drag department. Moving on to the rares now. Chevy actually has some very strong weak cars. The Jeff Gordon edition of the Chevrolet Monte Carlo, this was an American Dream event car, and it has very impressive handling. It goes up to 86 grip. The 0 to 60 is quite weak, but it's not the worst. I do have this car fully upgraded, and I think it's very useful for weekly challenges, I would say. Weekly challenges is very useful. And yeah, I would say maybe if you're just starting out the game and you do get this car, I would say keep it and max it out. It's a good all-rounder and has really good grip. Another car that has really good grip, actually has the same amount of grip as the Jeff Gordon edition, would be the Chevrolet Malibu. It has really good grip, but the 0 to 60 is a lot weaker, but that is compensated by the standard tires. It also has medium ground clearance, so if there's ever a rare event, in Top Drives, where it's rainy and city streets, and this is probably the strongest car you can have. Good grip, standard tires, but besides that, really low, bad top speed, bad 0 to 60, you know, that kind of stuff. But I would recommend keeping it. Now, another drag monster. This is the best drag rare car in the game. And that is the Chevy Corvette 396. This has a 5.80 to 60, but the MRA is really good. And the top speed is not bad. So I would say do keep this car. Runner-ups that are, you know, pretty good in the drag race department would be the Chevrolet Corvette ZR1 from 1971, the LT1 from the 70s, but in the end, I'm only saying the best of the best, and the best of the best is the 396. Now, moving on to the C range, once again, Chevy has some pretty standout cars here. First of all is the El Camino. This goes down to 4.00 to 60, and although this got upgraded from a D to a C, I would still say it's really useful. So if you do have it, do keep it. It is a drag monster. Another car that I would like to highlight will be the K5 Blazer. Now, in terms of stats, it is actually, you might think it's kind of weak, but it does have off-road tires, and surprisingly, it is really strong. I came across this car during the Demon events, and it's safe to say that I really wanted one, but I never got it in the end. But if you do keep this car, do max it out, because I feel like it would be very useful in future events. And if I do get it, I will max it out myself. Other cars that really stand out would be the ZR2. 4.90 to 60 goes down to like what, 4.0, I think, 0 to 60. What is interesting though is that the ZR2 does lose to the El Camino in, I think, quarter mile, I believe. And then I think the Corvette ZR2 beats it in like 1 mile. But it is interesting to see how a RQ15 car can actually compete with an RQ18. But once again, I do say keep it because the grip is a lot better than the El Camino. But once again, you'll be using this car solely for the drag strip. So I would say the best car is the El Camino, but this is a close second. Moving on to the Bs. Now, the Chevy Cobalt. This is an interesting car because it has medium ground clearance. So if you want to have a American car that has medium ground clearance, then I would say do consider keeping the Cobalt. However, I wouldn't recommend it. Chevrolet Trailblazer, this is a no-brainer. Keep the car, one of the best drag race SUV all-surface tire cars in the game, so do keep it. The Chevrolet Tahoe Custom. Now, I have to be brutally honest. I do love this car. It is a channel favorite, and it was the reason why I have the Demon. However, it is actually a pretty weak car. 83 grip when maxed out. 0-60 is pretty bad. Top speed is horrendous. Overall, this is a pretty weak SUV, so I wouldn't recommend keeping it or maxing it out. But it is a channel favorite, and I will love this car forever. But, you know, that's just my brutally honest opinion. I would say in terms of, like, American SUVs, the best one you can get is probably, like, the XT5, the Cadillac XT5. Moving on, Camaro convertible, super weak car, forget about it. But the Camaro SS Coupe, now this car is better, a lot better than the Camaro convertible. It has really good power. The grip is decent as well. Yeah, the grip is better than the convertible. And yeah, it has a top speed of 155. Obviously, it goes higher. I think it's like 168. So if you do have the Camaro SS, do keep it. It is a strong American Dream muscle car. Next one. Now, once again, Chevy is destroying it in the drag department. The Chevrolet Aerovet. If you do have this car, guys, do keep it. It goes down to like 3 point something, 3.9, 3.8, 060. I have to double check. But yeah, do upgrade this 996 or 232, and you'll be set for drags for the ultra rare range. I think this loses to the TV. I'll have to check. But all in all, this is an amazing car, and you guys should keep it. Moving on to the A's. I would say the best A's to have would be obviously the RQ26s, the Stingray Z51, the Corvette Z06, and the Corvette Z06 Lingenfelter. These three cars are obviously very strong, and I do have a maxed out version of the Stingray. However, they're all low ground clearance, just to let you know. Actually, all the A cars are low ground clearance now since the Z28 got nerfed. Used to be one of my favorite cars, but now, unfortunately, is a second pick to my Z51. Other cars that are, you know, kind of strong would be the ZL1. I have this maxed out, and the ZL1 convertible. As you can see, it does have really strong stats. 3.90 to 60. Compared to the Z28 that only has a 4.0, you'd be thinking, why is this RQ24 and why is this RQ25? Well, the answer is really simple, guys. MRA. The American Dream cars, they don't really have amazing MRA, but these Camaros are track cars, and they do have good grip. So that is something to keep in mind. But like I said, best of the best, I would say the three Corvettes that are all RQ26 are the ones that you want to focus on. Obviously the ZL1, but we won't talk about that anymore. And then obviously the ZR1 Corvette looks really good, but no one has it yet. And then there is the Z06, the S. I would say this is probably one of the weaker S's in the game. However, if you do have it, do keep it, because it is a prize event car. So that's my take on Chevrolets. The Corvette Grand Sport, once again, is a very strong car, so if you do have it, do keep it around. But with that, we will move on. What did I say I would do? I'll do Fiat, right? Fiat and GMC. That's what I said I would do. So let's move on to Fiat. Now, this was a car that was added to the game. This car was added to the game when I was already doing the series, so yeah, it's good. Cars that I would recommend you to keep, I would say, would be the Fiat Punto. Fiat Punto has decent grip and standard tires, also medium clearance, so it would be really good for events like the Austin event, or just daily challenges like the first stage. Yeah, Fiat Punto is a pretty good one, but I would say that's the only one. Another car that is pretty valuable would be the Fiat Arba 131, just because it's a rally car, off-road tires, and it has good grip. It goes up to 86 grip. So if you do have it, do keep it. It is a good contender to the Suzuki off-road rally car. So yeah, that's a good one to have. The Fiat 124 Spider is okay. However, I do prefer using the Mazda RX-8s. But that is solely my opinion. If you do have the 124, you know, they are pretty strong D cars. They have good grip, but I think their 0 to 60 is very weak. Another car that I would finally recommend would be the Arbarf 124 Spider. Really good handling, and the 0 to 60 is decent. and also it's a very light car. But besides that, those are the Fiats that I would recommend. Finally, ending off with GMC. Now we only have 3 of these cars. All I can say is that the GMC Yukon is the one that you want to focus on, because this has a really good 0 to 60. On a base of 5.8 seconds, it would beat the XT5, the Cadillac XT5, which I dub as one of the best American SUVs in the ultra rare range. Once again, the GMC Terrain, I wouldn't recommend keeping it if you have the XT5, because the XT5 has the same amount of RQ and it's better. Beats it in basically every track. So yeah, I would say in the new update for top drives, Hutch may bump this car down from RQ22 to 21, just because it's just really underused. Since there are so many better cars in the game. And finally, the GMC Yukon XL. I think this car has been released. I can't really remember, but it is pretty weak, so I wouldn't really focus on it. But the GMC Yukon, definitely, if I had this car, I would max it out. It is actually really fast in terms of 0 to 60. Anyway, guys, that is the video for today. Chevy, Caterham, Fiat, and GMC. The next episode, I'll be focusing on Ford, Honda, Hummer, and Infinity, I do believe. Yeah, and hopefully we'll make a new video for the newer cars like Chrysler, Dodge, and Plymouth. But I do hope you guys did enjoy this this series. A new episode should be coming out maybe later next week. And if you have any cars that you think I should have touched upon, do let me know in the comments. But once again, thank you so much for the support. Thank you for the likes, the subs, and I will see you guys next time.